I call this meeting of the Magnolia Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code Chapter 551. So if everybody would please stand, Dr. Travis Moffitt's going to lead us in our invocation.
It's been our tradition to pray before our meeting, so if you'd like to, please join us in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you that your mercies and grace are brand new every morning. Thank you that you love us so much and really more than we deserve. We ask for daily protection of each individual campus in our district. We lift up all of our campus officers that are there to protect our children. As a board of trustees, we definitely acknowledge we are a bunch of imperfect people. Please give us wisdom in every decision that we make, big or small. Help us to number our days so that we will grow a heart of wisdom with our marriages, our children, and our community. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. So Mark and Paisley, come on up here to the front if you would and lead us in our pledges. And you said you're going to do the U.S., right?
Yes.
And you're going to do the Texas? All right, we'll start with the U.S.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, if you'll stay up here, Mark, have a seat, and we'll come right back to you in a second. Everybody else can have a seat.
All right, Mr. Blizzard and Dr. Stevens and board, thank you for having us tonight and allowing us to share our greatness. We are super proud of our student who's been chosen as Student of the Month. Her name is Paisley Thornton. She's been at Nichols Sawmill for 5 years, and I want to tell you a little bit about her. We'd like to say welcome to her mom and her dad, Mr. and Ms. Thornton. Y'all give us a wave behind the video camera over here. Awesome. Little sis Piper and our big brother Gage as well. Ms. Hagedorn is here, her 4th grade teacher, and her assistant principal, Ms. Stewart, is here as well. And look, they all came for you. Isn't that awesome? All right, so what's amazing about this beautiful little one dressed in red tonight? First, she wanted you to know that she and her family rescue dogs. One of their dogs was rescued during Hurricane Harvey, giving this mama dog a home for her and her soon-to-be born 8 puppies. Since that time, Tidbit has passed away, but they have been a safe haven for other rescues like Dixie and Diesel in the Thornton family. Awesome. Her favorite subject during school, science for the awesome experiments, art and writing. Her favorite thing to do after school is to play games with her neighbor, and she loves to cook desserts that she does share with her family. She wanted you to know that. Her future goals, raising chickens to show for FFA. When she grows up, she wants to attend Sam Houston State University to earn a degree in architecture and then stay 4 more years to earn her master's degree. With this degree, listen to this, this is awesome, she wants to build houses so that she can provide homes for the homeless. She also then wants to create her own restaurant and bakery on the San Antonio Riverwalk. So I think you'll have some business to make also. Why was she chosen for this very special award? This is what her teachers say about her. Paisley greets them every morning and her peers with a beautiful smile. Her positive attitude is contagious and refreshing. She's a model student and respectful to all students and friends. She gives 100% of effort all of the time as her grades reflect, and she continually strives to maintain academic excellence. She continually lends a helping hand, as you've heard in her life story, to anyone in need, and so many times without asking. Her life's motto, a quote that she had last year in Miss Hill's class of 3rd grade, "Oh, the places you'll go, yes, you will succeed indeed. Never give up on your goals." And what she's done tonight, she's written a speech. So she brought this tonight, and she said, "Miss Quinn, I wrote a speech." So we talked to Mr. Blizzard, and Mr. Blizzard said, "Would you like to read that? Would you like to read it?" You would? Okay. All right, read loud and clear. Here we go.
Nichols Sawmill is a great school. I think you should send your kids to this school because, in my opinion, this school has the greatest education. I have been at this school for 5 years and I have experienced the greatest and magnificent teachers. Next year, my whole grade most recognition they have helped students. The students are like a family to me. I would give a thanks to my past and present teachers, these spectacular teachers, and Miss Hagedorn. Miss Mays, Miss Stewart, Miss Meredith, Miss Day, Miss Hill, Miss Denham, and Miss Hagedorn. And another thanks to our always smiling principal, Miss Quinn, our always hilarious assistant principal, Miss Joyce Stewart, and our anti-bully problem solver who could not be here today. Thanks for nominating me, my wonderful teachers, friends, and the Magnolia School District.
Thank you for having us up here and giving us an opportunity to share Mark with you guys. He is, well, before I get started, let's welcome his family. We have his mom and dad, Mr. and Mrs. Magana. We have his younger siblings, John and Leslie, who are 5th graders at Bear Branch Intermediate. And we have Ishmael, who is an 8th grader at Bear Branch Junior High. Mark is a 6th grader at Bear Branch Intermediate School who attended Smith Elementary, and we were just talking a little while ago about Mrs. Roman and Miss Rivera, and what an impact you guys had on this family. And Mark started at Smith Elementary as a 1st grader. He shared a story with me the other day that when he was in 1st grade, new to Smith Elementary, he had never heard before, are you a car rider, a bus rider, or a walker? So he decided that day himself he was going to be a bus rider. And he got on the bus. I don't know where Mr. Dedes is, but you'll appreciate the tenacity of your drivers getting every kid home safely, because he's here with us. So a teacher got on the bus and said, we're looking for Mark. Mark, raise your hand. And he told me, he said, Miss Linsky, I put my hand down because I wanted to ride that bus. We're glad you're here with us. So he's a car rider now. I don't know if that's by design or because of that choice he made as a 1st grader. But he is an outstanding young man, and I will share with you so many of the things that his teachers have to say about him, but I want to share a little bit more about him. He is an avid writer and loves to draw, specifically animate. His plan is to attend the Institute of Art in California and go to work for Disney Studios. I asked him, who would you be? If you could be anyone, who would you be? And he said Walt Disney, because he has the most fascinating story. And I have to agree with that. I find it unbelievable that a 6th grader already knows where they want to go, what they want to do, but this one does. And I think that's a real tribute to his family. Mrs. Hoke is here today, and she is our early morning child care teacher. And she said every single morning, these 3 get out of their dad's car, and every single one of them hug his neck. And it's just not something you see at the junior high age very often. So I know that this family loves him very much, and we are so honored to get to have him at Bear Branch Intermediate. I did ask him if he had any advice for 4th graders coming up to intermediate. You may appreciate this. He said, yes. He said, be sure you know where you're going to sit on the first day of school, at lunch.
At lunch.
And I said, why is that? He said, well, on the first day of school this year, I wasn't really paying attention, and I sat down at a table full of girls. It was a little weird. He said, and he demonstrated, he said, so I turned to the side with my tray and ate so that it didn't have to be weird for anyone. He really is so kind. So a few things about Mark, and several of our staff are here today to support him, and several of these people have said these things about him. He is creative and offers exceptional ideas. I believe that was from your yearbook teacher, or yearbook club sponsor. Mark is one of the most kind-hearted and quick-witted students I've ever encountered. He is always respectful and willing to help if needed. He is a very hardworking, intelligent peer for our students. Mark is incredibly creative, and his contributions to class discussion often leave the entire class mind blown. Mark is also very reliable and focused. He's just an all-around stand-up kid. He shows such maturity for a student his age. He treats the staff and peers with respect and kindness, and he exemplifies the best of Bear Branch Intermediate and beyond. It is my honor and my pleasure to present to you Mark Magana, Bear Branch Intermediate Student of the Year.
I'm not done roasting you yet. Mark, congratulations. Good job. Paisley, congratulations. We like your write-up there. That was neat. You know, the cool thing is, you guys are such an age, we're gonna see you again, I'm sure. And we can keep up with you, what you're doing in the next few years. But as I think I mentioned to you, we give this award like this for 9 months out of the year, and we've got over 13,000 students in the school district. So you guys represent your school and you do it well, so we're very proud of you. So good job, good job. Let's give these guys a little round. All right, sir. I think you're next.
Maya,
So,
you get to work here. You don't mind if I
please do.
step out here? Every now and then, our Board of Trustees allows me to give out an award to some of our deserving employees. And tonight, in so many ways, is about us recognizing our students. We've got a lot of you here, so we can recognize all the kind of success that you have. I think it's a teachable moment, because I want you to know that we have certain employees that work for our district that are so valuable to us that at times we got to stop and recognize the things they do. We have a lot of people that have advanced degrees behind their names. We've got teachers that have put in years and years of training, but we also have some people that work a step behind the scenes, and if we didn't have them, and we didn't have their hard and smart work, we couldn't celebrate the kind of successes we have tonight. And I want to make sure we recognize those people, and that everyone here tonight knows just how important they are for our success as a district. And so I try to focus on those people several times during the year. And tonight, I have one of our custodians. And she happens to work at the event center. And she's been with our district for 14 years, working as a night custodian, different campuses around. The folks that are after we clear out those buildings, they get those buildings ready again for school. But she's had an opportunity to go over there with Mike Overman at the event center and take care of that building. And as it has sort of matured, there's not too many nights that there aren't big events going on out there. And every time I happen to be there, back in the back or out in the front setting up before the tables, there's Sylvia. And she's getting that event so ready. And even after the event is over, they're tearing those tables down, and she's out there. And I always comment when other people say, Charlie Riley, our commissioner, says, I'm not sure who she is, but she is the hardest working gal I think I've ever seen when I see her in this event center. And again, I want to recognize her tonight, but it also, in a way, recognizes all of those people who work so hard to make sure you guys have a chance to be successful at what you do, whether that's turning a wrench in our bus barn or driving a bus or working at an event center and getting that building ready so we can celebrate the things we do. But Sylvia Palker, come on up here. On behalf of everyone here, the Magnolia School District and Superintendent, I I want to thank you and all the other custodians across the district for all you do. And I tell you what, you are the hardest working gal I believe I've ever seen there. And you help us keep that event center up and running. And we want you to know we appreciate you. All right? Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Mike, good job. One more. Oh, hold on, just a second. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. Come here. Come here. Gary, come on up here. So Gary Hefner is here, manager of our HEB. And I'll tell you what, HEB does so many great things to help us in this district. And I asked Gary, and a little bit short notice, and Gary knows Sylvie because they've had some events out there and he's had set up. But I asked HEB if they wouldn't do something to help us recognize Sylvia Pierce. So Gary, I know you're never short for words. You want to say something? I'm sorry, man.
Thanks for the intro. Sylvia, after Dr. Stevens let us know he was honoring you tonight, for you taking care of so many people, we wanted to take care of you. So we made a special basket for you to pamper yourself, so instead of taking care of us. And we gave you a $200 gift card to go along with that.
Wow.
Are you off yet?
Are you off?
Thank you, Sylvia. Gary, thank you so much. And thanks, HEB, for all you do for Magnolia ISD.
Well, that was awesome, Dr. Todd. And Dr. Campbell's coming up here like he's next.
Thank you. We won't stop him.
That's right. Go for it, sir.
Hold it down.
Hold it down.
Hold the power button down for a second.
Operator.
Never known you to need a microphone.
Apparently I'm not very smart. Mr. Blizzard and school board, Dr. Stevens, fellow administrators and guests, thank you so much for allowing us this evening to come to present to you our rodeo art winners for 2020 that we were able to take down to Houston, the Livestock Show and Rodeo. And what I'd like to do at this time is call one of our teachers from Magnolia West, Miss Cheyenne Snook, who is the host and the coordinator of our rodeo art show. She's going to introduce to you some of our teachers and also students. So students, if your art is displayed up there, if you'll meet me on that far wall over there in just a second, if you'll start heading that way, I'll meet you over there and we'll show these people the art as Ms. Snook introduces you. Thanks.
Well, it is one of my all-time favorite things to do, bragging on kids. We see some fantastic students in our classroom every day. And so you're just going to get a little sampling of that today. Before we get started and introduce you to students, I'd like to introduce you to some teachers who are behind the success of these kids. And so if you are a teacher here, an art teacher that is here, would you come stand right here? We're just going to announce you and you can give a wave. The first one is Kent Byers from Bear Ranch Junior High. Next to him is Sherry McIntosh from Magnolia High School. She's popular. Regina Michael from Magnolia West High School. Next to her is Marta Huntsman from Magnolia West. And Jessica McKinney is from Bear Branch Elementary. and Tara Ratliff is from Bear Branch Intermediate. Thank you guys for all that you do every day. We know that you put in the work every day to present beautiful lessons and to train and teach these students. And they are highly successful because of all that you do. So we certainly appreciate all of you. Today we would like to recognize our students who have been honored by the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Our district had over 400 entries in our local district show back in January, and if you had a chance to see all of that at the event center, I know that you were wowed by that. We selected, here at the local level, we selected finalists to take to the NRG Center, and the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo School Art judges then made their selections for Best of Show, for a gold medal award, and a special merit award. And so today we'd like to announce those. And then if you have a chance at some point today, these are prints that you're going to see on display. So they are replications, but if you ever have a chance to go down to Houston and see the rodeo and go through the Hayloft Gallery, I would highly encourage that. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to these fantastic art students. So for Best of Show for senior high school, she's not here this evening, but it's Layla Perez, and heading past yonder, and you can see that up in the upper left-hand corner. Layla is a junior at Magnolia West High School, and I am her teacher. And I have been privileged to have Layla in my class this year, and she is absolutely fantastic. We just received news this past week that her artwork is in one of the top 72 pieces in the whole Houston area. And she will find out this Sunday what her auction lot number is. And so she is being honored not just in Magnolia ISD and for Magnolia ISD, but she's being honored in the Houston area. So we're super proud of her. Best of Show for the junior high is a piece called Desert Canyon, and it's absolutely stunning. You did a great job on that. Sophia Phillip is a 7th grader at Bear Branch Junior High, and her teacher is Kent Byers. Super job by you, Sophia. Best of Show for the elementary is a piece called Colorful Cow. And I will just tell you that I had this piece in my classroom, the print of this piece in my classroom, and all of my high school students thought it was awesome. So good job by you. Colorful Cow is by Liam Byer, and he is a 4th grader at Bear Branch Elementary, and his teacher is Jessica McKinney. The Gold Medal Award for senior high is a piece that is on display. It is here, it's called Riley and Diesel, and it's by Mackenzie Bayless, and unfortunately she's not able to be here tonight. Mackenzie is a 10th grader at Magnolia West High School, and her teacher is Marta Huntsman. Another Gold Medal Award for senior high is a piece called An Innocent Companion Sheep, and Jackie is here. Step out, Jackie. This piece has a sheep in it, and it's not a companion ship, it's a companion sheep. I love the play on words that she has there. Jacqueline DeGalato is an 11th grader at Magnolia West High School, and once again, I'm her teacher. Very proud of you, Jackie. The Gold Medal Award for junior high is a piece called Ancient Warrior, and this is by Olivia Vonnick, and Olivia is a 7th grader at Bear Branch Junior High, and her teacher is Kent Byer. And I will tell you, Olivia, that I heard several people comment about how cool your piece is, so keep up the good work. Gold Medal Award for elementary is a piece called The Foreign Express, and this is by Garrett Stallings, and Garrett is a 5th grader at Bear Branch Intermediate, and his teacher is Tara Ratliff. Good job, Garrett. The Special Merit Awards for senior high is a piece called Eye to Eye, and it's by Hannah Wilson, and she is a senior at Magnolia High School, and her teacher is Sherry McIntosh. Beautiful piece. Another Special Merit Award winner for senior high is a piece called Country Cat in the Cowboy Tack. And I love these titles, aren't they awesome? This is by Caden Mace, and Caden is a sophomore at Magnolia West High School. And her teacher, yes, you can hold it up, there you go. And her teacher is Marta Huntsman. Good job, Kaden. One more special merit award for senior high. It's a piece called Silent Silos. All right, and it's by Lexi Peterson. And this piece, if you haven't looked at it up close, it is absolutely stunning. So meticulous and so fine in the line work. Lexi is a ninth grader, y'all, at Magnolia High School, and her teacher is Sherry McIntosh. And then last but not least, the Special Merit Award for Senior High is one more piece. It's called Beyond the Fence, and it is by Maggie Malden. And Maggie is a 10th grader at Magnolia West High School, and her teacher is Regina Michael. Beautiful piece, Maggie. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, these are absolutely fantastic, and we are proud, beyond proud, of our students, and we thank you for the opportunity to honor them here today, and they are deserving of that honor. So if you will you just give them one round of applause?
Snook is way too humble to take any notice of herself, but she's our leader, and we appreciate you, and thank you for all the hard work and all the details, and we have to bring so much paperwork down there, and she has us all organized, so thank you for everything you do. And parents, if for some reason you didn't get a picture, as soon as they call for a break, the paintings will be over here, and you can take as many pictures as you want to. And we want to thank the school board, and we want to thank our administrators and guests for always supporting the arts, and we appreciate you. Thank you.
That's always impressive. I couldn't begin to do anything.
Talented kids,
That's right.
talented teachers.
That's right. Talent everywhere. So, speaking of talent, where's our cheer coach? We're going to get to see, all right. Why don't you come on up here? Won a big contest lately, I hear.
My hands are a little full tonight, but that's life, right?
I'm Courtney Rydell. I'm the head cheer coach at Magnolia High School. Back here is my assistant, Kelly Helton, as well. And my small army is behind me, joining us tonight. We just wanted to thank the Board of Trustees for wanting to recognize these ladies for their incredible accomplishment. We are not only beyond proud of how they represented Magnolia ISD at the competitive level, but also in their ability to maintain good sportsmanship, accountability, and class throughout this school year. Their work ethic in and out of the classroom is unmatched, and they wanted to prove to themselves and this community that they were capable of obtaining such a high honor. Out of 68 teams, they were awarded first place in our band chant category, second place in the cheer category, and second place in fight song category in the preliminary round, which qualified us to go to the top 20 for a chance at the state title. So without further ado, I present to you the 5A Division I state champion cheer team, Magnolia High School. I believe at this time we're going to play our state routine.
5A Division I state champion for UIL.
job, ladies. You know, when we heard that they had won, somebody up here gave us notice that you guys had won. I actually went and looked up the scores, and it didn't seem like second place was very close at all. I think you guys left them in the rearview mirror somewhere, so that was cool. Awesome job. Awesome job.
Way to go.
Coach Berta?
Good evening, how are y'all?
Good.
Dr. Stevens, School Board, I would like to thank you guys for allowing us the opportunity to recognize some very large human beings in the back of the room. And those guys will be the Magnolia High School football team. And so this year, the Magnolia High School football team went 8-4. They made to the area round of the Texas High School playoffs and played in the AT&T Stadium in front of a very large crowd. So super proud of those guys. This year's team had many accomplishments. They had 27 all-district selections off the team. They had 28 all-district academic selections, and they had 11 all-state academic selections off this year's football team. So I'm super proud of these guys, their hard work and their dedication and commitment to not only to the football team, but to academics. And they represented Magnolia ISD and Magnolia High School very proudly, and we're excited about the future of Magnolia High School football program. And at this time, I would like to call up Coach Martin, the head football coach.
Thank you, Coach Berta, and thank you guys for having us here tonight. We're excited to be here. One of the things that we don't get a chance to do very often is say thank you for all of the support that we get across the district from a district level, from a campus level, and from a community level, and the support that we get for what we do and how we do it is phenomenal. So we're very blessed to be where we are, largely in part because of the people in this room. So thank you for that. Like Coach Berta said, we had a really successful year, and we graduated some really big guys in some big key spots, but we bring back a good group of those guys next year, and we are feverishly working hard for what the 2020 football season will look like. We're in my opinion, one of the most competitive districts in the state, and so we've got our hands full, but we look forward to a successful campaign in 2020 as well. Not all of our guys were able to be here tonight, unfortunately, but we do have quite a few of them back here, so I wanted to introduce them. And guys, if you just kind of walk this direction as I do that, we've got number 1, Grady Harper. We've got number 4, Travis Moore. Number 6, Ross Choate. Number 11, Gavin Mason. Number 12, Nathan Hakes. Number 16, Heston Kelly. Number 17, Mac Childs. Number 18, Will Alexander. Number 26, Garrison Hefner. Number 45, Eliel Sandoval. Number 48, Ben Colligan. Number 49, Rylan Rich. Number 53, Derek Bowman. Number 61, Daniel Hinojosa. Number 70, Cade Bond. Number 74, Matthew Wyckoff. Number 81, Mitchell Garrett. And number 95, Cedric Harris. Big round of applause for those guys, please. And then also with us tonight is a couple of our assistant coaches, our assistant head coach, Wayne Childs, our receivers coach, David Allison, and our offensive coordinator, Josh McNeil. And then I also saw Josh Jacobs back there as well. So big round of applause for those guys. Also, one of the cool things that we haven't talked about support, but we have a pretty good one back there in the back too. They get those gold medals around their necks. Pretty cool to have in your court too. So thanks for having me.
Great job, guys. It looks like a few of you hadn't missed too many meals. Hey, going to AT&T is a big deal. There's not many people can say they did that. Good job.
Let's get these kids home. They've got lots of homework to do tonight. Lots. Ladies, we're so proud of y'all bringing us a state champ. Just like, what, only the 3rd year we've been in competition? I mean, UIL competitions. Has it been 3 years now? Is this?
This is year 5.
This is year 5. I missed 2 years of that. So that's great. We're right there at the top of it. And we look forward to see continued success in there and bring us some more goals back. All right? Thank y'all.
This is the best part of our meeting, but we're gonna take a 5-minute break. Not trying to run anybody off. If you wanna stay, we invite you to do so. But we're gonna take a short 5-minute break. Thank you, guys. Okay. We're back. Thank you. Ms. Hinkleman, do we have anybody signed up to speak?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. Okay, this fine young man is coming to talk to us next, I think.
Ask him to give us a little update on transportation, how things are picking up.
Correct. Dr. Stevens asked me about transportation, about the GPS system, so I know several of you have seen this presentation a couple times, but it is a little different tonight. As I've learned more about it, I can share more about it, so it is a little different. So each one of our 197 vehicles that the district owns, yellow buses and white fleet Suburbans trucks, Impalas, have all been outfitted with a GPS system. And so I'm going to kind of share with you what exactly that does as I put in my State of the Transportation report to you. Safety, efficiency, and communication. And so I'm just barely going to scratch the surface of what this does. One, because there's so much, and two, because it's new, and so I'm still learning more about it. And so, but it really truly is an awesome system. So just to kind of give you an idea, we have rules that are set up for the GPS system. As you can see here on your screen, it monitors things like harsh braking, hard acceleration, harsh cornering, speeding, seat belts. We have after hours usage off, possible collision. One of the great things about the possible collision is it sends, just some of the spectacular things it does is it sends an email. So if the GPS senses that there was a potential accident, Ms. Mooneyham, myself, Ms. Mooneyham, our fleet manager, our two shop foremen immediately get an email that says, hey, Unit 4205, possible accident at the corner of Commerce and Nickel Sawmill. And so we immediately know if there's an accident, we can get right to that spot immediately. We can radio, see if they need help, see what's going on. It's just a really cool tool. And it can tell the difference between that harsh deceleration or harsh acceleration and a possible accident. It's a smart GPS, I guess, if you will. Even if anybody in here has been driving a vehicle at even 1 mile per hour and you hit a wall or hit a stopped vehicle in front of you, there's a nice jolt, even at 1 mile per hour. It may not be like 1.21 gigawatts jolt, but it's a jolt enough that tells this GPS system that, hey, there's possible accident. Idling, but if you look at all those, it talks about safety, but it's also, if you look at efficiency, if you harsh brake, jackrabbit starts, harsh corner, and speeding, those are all money. That's all savings. So idling, fuel, late arrival, early leave, unauthorized stops, that's a good one. Just fleet idling. These are just all the different rules that we can set for our GPS system. We're talking about emails. So many of us have driven our vehicles and the engine light pops up, all right? And so what is it? I mean, what's the first thing that goes through your mind? Oh man, what now? Is it something big? Is it something small? It's something as simple as a gas cap. And what it does when that engine light goes on, again, myself, Ms. Mooneyham, Mr. Kreitz, our two shop foreman, get an email that says, hey, Unit 4217 has an engine light on, and this is what it is. And it could be something as simple as a gas cap. We've all had that, most of us anyways have had that happen. And so the driver radios in and says, whoa, hey, my gas light, or my engine light came on. What do I do? Hey, it's no big deal. It's your gas cap. We've already got the email. You're good. Just continue on. When you get in, we'll fix your gas cap. No problem. Or the money side of it is it could be something big like a flex capacitor, right? And it could, something that could blow, just totally blow the engine. And it's happened before where the engine light comes on and they're like, what is it? Well, it's still running. We're still good. And then boom, next thing you know, the engine blows. And now we're dropping 15 grand to put an engine in a bus, where this here will alleviate that problem. So some good stuff that this does. one of the things we talk about time and efficiency is we're getting into some of the cold weather months, and some of the drivers come in and their batteries are dead, but they don't know it because they've died at midnight or 1 in the morning when it got really cold. So they show up at 5:45 to get on the bus, and they try and start their bus. It doesn't start. They walk over to the mechanic, say, hey, my batteries are dead. The mechanics load up 3 batteries on the dolly, go out there, and disconnect 3, connect 3, and about 30 minutes later, they start the route. So now they're 30 minutes behind. Well, when that battery dies at 1 in the morning, an email goes out to myself, to Cindy, to Kevin, to the shoe shop foreman, says, hey, batteries are dead in 5213. So at 5 in the morning, 4:45 in the morning, when the mechanics get there, they can switch out the batteries. When the driver gets there at 5:45, she turns her key, bus starts, and she's gone, misses no time. So just there's just a few of the cool things that this system offers. It also has a little beep. So anytime you violate a speed in, or harsh corner in, or harsh brake in, this system will beep at you. It will. And I found that out. Cindy thought it would be really funny to go ahead and set it up on my vehicle. And so we set up speeding at 6 miles an hour. You have to be 6 miles an hour over the speed limit in order for it to be considered speeding. I know this. So I'm 2 miles, 3 miles over the speed limit coming down 45, and I'm here, beep. And I looked at my wife and said, is that your phone? Beep, beep. And I went, I know what it is. I know what it is. They're playing a game with me. But I was confused because I was 3 under. I wasn't at that 6 and couldn't figure it out. So 20 miles later, beep, beep, beep. My wife's like, could you turn that thing off? And I said, I don't know why it's beeping. I mean, she was this close to going down 45 of jumping out the door. And I was this close to unlocking it. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. But it does. It beeps at you. It beeps at you and lets you know, hey, you're doing something wrong. So now we're going to take a look at the map. This is the map of our vehicles. And I'll go here and I'm going to select all vehicles. And what this is going to do is this is going to zoom in to where we are. And of course, hopefully, the majority of our vehicles are at the transportation garage. Hopefully. So you're going to see here we have a couple big clusters, if you will, big clusters. You see all these clusters here on the east side and the west side. Apparently, Zach's car is over at Smith Elementary where they park it. But so what I did here, so that give you a better idea, is this is what it looked like this afternoon when they were taking kids home. And you can see how there's triangles that are spread out all over, well, this portion of the district. If it's a triangle, it's moving. If it's a square, they're stopped. And this kind of helps us be able to see, are they on their route? Are they stopping at the right places? Are they going down roads they shouldn't be traveling, etc.? So this is a pretty good tool here to have. Going back to this live view, if we want to just look at one vehicle, then we put in one vehicle and hit select, and it's going to show us exactly where that is. So 5213 is parked right out back at the support center here where we are. And so we can look up a single vehicle, we can look up multi-vehicles. And the cool thing about this feature here is it allows us to look at trip history. So if I want to go and see what it looked like today, then I click here, and this shows the path that was driven from the event center after visiting with Mr. Overman this afternoon, driving back to the transportation center. This is how a route should look. This is how all the routes should look. You'll see it's a solid purple line. Solid purple line, and when I have the mouse off, it's just the line. When I put the cursor of the mouse over that line, that box pops up and it tells you that 5213, Jay Dives was driving 55 miles an hour on February 10th at 1:13 p.m. And the speed limit on 1488 is 55 miles an hour. And so if I scroll just along, you can see it changes 53, changes 51, 50, you know, so it's good data, and that's what it should look like. Now, I wanted you to see this is a perfect how it should be. And now I'm going to show you the complete opposite. So I'm going to pull up Dr. Campbell's vehicle. I'm kidding, I'm not. But I've done this presentation a few times, so I'm going to go back all the way to several days to January 24th, and I'm going to pull up this here. This shows you what, well, it's supposed to, there it is. It shows you what happens when there's a violation. So if you look, you still have that purple line, and if I put that cursor on there, it's going to tell me exactly everything, all the information, who's the vehicle, who's driving the vehicle, what time, how fast I'm going, and what the posted speed limit is. And then when I hit a violation, it's going to show you in red. Okay, so this is being very touchy, and it's not allowing me to get it. But so what happens is and it'll pop up for a second. I don't know if you can see it, that red triangle, and there you go. And it tells you I was driving 57 miles an hour, January 24th, 11:20 a.m. I was on 1488. The speed limit's 50, and I was going 57. So it tells you all these details. Yeah, shame on me. And I actually did it. I did it intentionally, so I can show this to you. So we can do this with any vehicle. You know, obviously in transportation, the phone rings and it says, "Hey, we were driving on this highway and a Magnolia vehicle passed us up like we were going still. We can pull this up," or you know, the bus didn't come by our street today, didn't come by our stop. We can pull this up, and it shows the bus did go by. It shows the time it got there. I mean, it shows all the information whether or not that did or did not happen. Thus, can we go back? Do we not go back? Thus, saving money. So now we're going to take a look at the dashboard. The dashboard is a cool tool that it shares so much data, so much information. We call these in our industry KPIs, key performance indicators, and it shows us detailed information to help us, shows us what we're doing so that we can make the adjustments that needed to, again, be more efficient with our vehicles. Where do we need to focus training? You'll see here idle costs for the last month, our fuel trend. I can scroll up, it's idle costs for the last week for this month. But one of the cool things about this here is I can click on it and we can sort it. You'll notice we have white fleet vehicles, which are Suburbans, trucks, Impalas, and we also have yellow fleet, and we have it split up east or west. We can just say, hey, everything in yellow. And if you look here, and this will be important, you have fours. If you see a number that starts with a 4, that's a school bus. If you see a number that starts with a 5, that's a white fleet. And that's important when we start looking at some scorecards down the road when it says below expectations. And it's a vehicle that starts with a 5, it's a Suburban or a white fleet. But we can X out. I'm going to change it back to everything. You'll notice now there's 4s and 5s in there. Again, just key performance indicators that show us idle, what our idle trend is, what our idle costs are, and then the gold. So this is speeding. This is, if you look at the first one, 87.0. That's pretty fast there. I'm thinking they were going to head over to the Pine Valley Mall, is it, and try and hit 88 and see what would happen, right? And so 87 and 51.97. So that's a white fleet. Yesterday, the highest was 77.7, which if you're going to Bis Paradise Casino is pretty good, right? So 85.7. Now the good thing about this here is it's better than it was. The first month that we had this, you couldn't find a number under 94. You could not find a number under 94. So now people know that we have GPS on our vehicles, and when they check them out, they don't drive them like they stole them. They're a little more cautious with them. And I'm not going to, but if I clicked on any one of these yellow tabs here, it would pull up a report. This one here is this month. So it would pull up a report of the highest 10 speed limits that happened this month. Same thing with yesterday and last month. We do have a process in place with this. Like for instance, this 87, there's probably not a reason they need to be going 87. So we would look at it, cross-check who was driving the vehicle, find who that principal or the director is. We'd send them a nice email with a little chart saying, here's the data that shows this person was driving this vehicle, and then that principal and director has a conversation with that particular employee. And like I said, it's been working because you're looking at a 10-mile-an-hour difference on average from 90-something to 80-something. I'm not real concerned with 77. If I look into it, I'd be surprised if it wasn't somebody who was on 45, 2 miles an hour over. Not real concerned with that. But 80, 87, 85s, those do stick out. I'm going to take a look at scorecards. This is actually, before I go to scorecards, if you take it the communication status, this shows which vehicles they're not talking to us, and there could be a good reason. They're in the shop, they're working on it. I think some people have had the thought of, well, if I get in the car, I can just unplug it, but they're actually tied on with we'll call it a zip tie for lack of a better term. But when you pull it off, the zip tie breaks. You can't just go to the grocery store and get another zip tie. Each zip tie has a specific serial number on it. So when we go to check it to see what happened, that zip tie will be broken, and well, this is a generic one from HEB maybe. And so it's a dead giveaway. Scorecards. So this score, and I'm going to skip over yesterday's because obviously yesterday was Sunday. Very few people, if any, were driving on Sunday. But I'm going to look at last week's scorecard, and you can see the color code. Green is exceeds expectations, yellow is meets expectations, orange is below expectations, then far below expectations. I assure you, just as you saw this up here, every single number was a 5, a Suburban or a truck or an Impala that was checked out by somebody. I assure you that when you look at this chart, the green and yellow is predominantly, there are white fleet in there. We have some great white fleet drivers, but these are predominantly the school buses, which is good to know that the people who are driving our kiddos are doing exactly what they're supposed to. As a matter of fact, every week we post the top 10 scorecards on. We have TV such as this in our transportation centers, and it scrolls messages, and we post the top 10 from each side on that scoreboard or on that TV. And it's become like a nice little motivational challenge. Oh yeah, you were on it twice in a row. I'm taking you down. And they work harder to improve their driving skills too. And it's been really cool. So I'm going to click on this to show you what the scorecard looks like. And again, my goal is not to call anybody out. And so what a scorecard looks like is this. I'm going to enable editing and do a group. And let's see if I can filter it from best to worst. And so what it does here is it puts the best scores at the top. So I don't think anybody who's at the top is going to mind them being called out. But you see all these scores, and you see a lot of 4s in here. A lot of 4s, bus drivers. Like I said, there's a 5. There's a 5 in there or so. But all these are great scores. And I'm going to scroll down to where you see 5213. Only, because again, my goal isn't to call anybody out, but to show you what abilities that we have. Last week I exceeded expectations. The goal here is to have, just like we were in school, you want 100. That's the goal. So hard acceleration 100, harsh braking 100. Apparently there's times I take that vehicle around the corner on 2 wheels. That's 89-1, 100 for speeding, which is good. So when you take a look at all of this, then I had 4 total occurrences. And so not only does it go by, you know, what it is, but how many times you've done it. And so, and that's how it calculates your score. And again, just another tool for us to be able to share with our drivers and let them get a little friendly competition going on to help improve. And like I said, I'd be interested to see how much money it cost us in fuel this February compared to last February. And of course, you know, there's somewhat apples to oranges because we changed routes and et cetera. But if we could figure out some sort of maybe per 100 miles or something to see, I would venture to say that we are less in that money category based on this system and what we've done. So this is the GPS just in a nutshell. It does so much more, and I'm going to move on to the second part, but are there any questions on the GPS part of it? No questions? Okay.
I would say that in addition to saving the money, it's a safety issue. All those buses that have an issue and it comes back to the barn what it is, there could be kids on that bus that aren't safety, so works for both angles.
Now, this is our on-screen, and when you first look at it, it looks a lot similar to what we just saw, where it shows a map of where our buses are. You can see there's the 2 clusters over at Transportation West, Transportation East. And I have to tell you this, we will have training on this portion of it on February 18th and February 19th. Those are our 2 training dates. So I'm just showing you very briefly this portion of it. Hope not to blow anything up. I don't know very much about it. But it's one of those that principals are going to love it, parents are going to love it, we're going to love it. And the reason being is because it allows us to run just so many reports. This right here is the fleet view. But if we click on here, you see the different reports. Reports that are vital to us and our data to help us understand if we are going to, what we need to do to change based on efficiency. So, you know, the first one is a school arrival, and just very generic. You see we can get just a driver, we can do by groups. I'm just going to do a generic everybody for February 10th, and I'm going to go to this last page. And so you'll see what it is it pulls up the route number, the unit, the driver, and their anchor location. The anchor is just simply wherever they're going to end. So in this case, they were going to end at Williams, which means their planned start time is 7:25. They should start picking up kids to go to Williams. And then their planned anchor time, they should arrive at Williams at 8:10. Today, she arrived at 8:05, so she was 5 minutes early. And obviously not everybody's early. You can see some people are 1 minute, 10 minutes, they're 6 minutes early, 8 minutes late. But it just gives us data to show us, hey, these are some cool things. Who's running late? Why are they running late? We can figure, you know, if we need to adjust routes, again, for efficiency. There's so many other reports in here, and again, I don't even know very much. A speeding report, railroad crossing activity report. One of the other ones is a bus on time performance report. Let's go for Friday and let's pick on Bear Branch Junior High. I'm not going to put any kind of data in there because I don't want to blow it up, but it'll pull a report that says here are the 10, 12 buses or so that go to the junior high, and in the afternoon, every single one of them is on time every single day, which it should be because that's the first campus they go to in the afternoon. But so just a lot of data. The principals are going to love this because there is an arrival board on here, just very much like when you're at the airport and it shows flight, UH 375 is on time or delayed. So each campus will have this set up here, and so it shows you where all the buses are. So let's see, we'll go to Magnolia Junior High since we picked on Bear Branch earlier. And so it's just going to show, you can see there's no buses clustered over here on the east side because all the Magnolia Junior High buses come out of the west. And again, I know this doesn't give you a good representation because they're all in one cluster, But when they're en route, it's just gonna, it's gonna show you where they are. And then next, it's gonna be a split screen. Half of it's gonna be this map, show you where they are. The other half is gonna have your list of buses, like the report I just pulled up. It'll have all your buses, and it'll say on time, running 5 minutes late. It'll give you that arrival board, which I think is pretty cool. Some of the principals, I think it was Dr. Petty had asked about something similar to that in one of the presentations I was talking about. And the other cool thing about it is the parent app. So the parents can download an app, and just like they do now, when they log into our web page, or the Magnolia ISD web page, they can punch in their student ID and their password, and it pops up what bus their child rides, where the bus stop is, and what time it's going to arrive, both in the morning and afternoon. With this parent app, they're going to log into this app, they're going to put in their student ID and their passcode, and it's going to pull up their child's bus only. It's going to show them where this bus is, so they know where the bus, it's not here yet. It's 10 minutes away, or wherever it might be. And that app, we're told, has the ability to ding that parent when that bus is 2 minutes out, which I think is a pretty cool feature. So especially cold days, rainy days, they don't want, hey, go stand in the rain and wait for the bus, but it's cold and rainy. So they wait till that ding, they get that ding 2 minutes away based on that live GPS, and then they can get out to the bus, get on the bus, and they don't miss it. So that's not a whole lot, but again, we haven't gone through training, so I don't know very much on this. I just know it's going to do a lot of cool things, and I think it's going to be a benefit for everybody involved. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
When do we expect to roll out to the parents on the app feature?
Well, we'll have training on the 18th and 19th, and we would like to test it the next couple days after that to make sure that the data going in is the data coming out. That's kind of what's pushed us back, but we want to make sure that when we do push it out to the parents, it's accurate and not going to cause more frustration. I think after a couple days, I think March 1st at the latest, maybe March 1st at the very latest, yeah. And I know Denise is going to put a big old presentation together and tweet it out and push it out there, and everybody's going to know about it. It's going to be awesome. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. No other questions?
You mentioned, I heard you mention something about the railroad crossings. I know on this side we have delays due to the trains.
Yes, we do.
So will it alert you ahead of time? The train, there's no way to know ahead of time.
I don't think so.
We're trying to slip GPSs on those trains, so we can see where they're going. But
That'd be nice
they
to know.
kind of don't want to cooperate with that, but it would be nice.
Well, I heard him say that, and I thought, well, is there a way that they're tracking when the arms go down? There's nothing.
Not with this system. Yeah. I mean, we do have phone numbers. We are in communication with them, but it's just one of those things we have to live with.
Yeah.
It stinks, but
I think it's going to be a great. It already is, and you know, when we've already tasked technology, we're going to get some big screens in our office, and their routing offices, they've got big TVs in there, and they can pull it up and they watch those buses in real time as they move along. And so, you know, usually it's the first few days of school when it's a little bit of, you know, excitement trying to get people here, there, and yonder, and we get calls in sometimes, and we want to know where bus 37 is. It's slow. And the dispatchers call in on the radio trying to find, and we brought that down to now where they can look on a screen, they can see exactly where that bus is and how far they are. And at some point, we're not ready to, we're sure if we want to cross it, but if it has the capability that we can swipe kids in and out of the bus, and we can look and see who's actually still on that bus or who has left and gone, and where they actually got off at. And that's another bridge to cross at some point, but it does have that capability. And but I think it's going to be a tremendous asset for our dispatch and knowing where kids are. And I can't wait to get it pushed out. And I haven't put any pressure on Mr. Davies to get that done for the parents, you know, but I think we're going to get it rolled out here pretty soon.
No, we are getting it rolled out very soon.
It's a good thing.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good presentation.
I guess Dr. Hebert's next.
Looks like
Good evening. Denise is going to switch us over, but just as we talked about a few months ago, you know that we have some curriculum board goals that we are working on as we're working in this year of continuous improvement. And so we put together just a brief update for you guys to kind of show you where we are and what we're watching right now in regard to our curriculum goals. And so you'll remember that the goal that we set, really we set this one last year because Magnolia ISD we feel like should be leading the way in the state and in our area, and that we feel like having a goal that even as the state increases, we should increase and maintain the lead and ahead of them of 5 to 10 percentage points in the state performance level, and by doing so also earn an A in the state accountability system. So that's part of our goal focus for the year, is just keeping that moving forward, keeping that in the forefront of what we're doing and how we're doing in relation to that. Now, you of course remember there are three levels of passing for each grade level, and so we took last year's performance and then made goals for each passing level for each grade level and subject. And so as we are looking at multiple sources of data all throughout the year, we're looking in relation to how are we doing according to these goals, and which are the areas that we need to put in some intervention, some extra planning, some kind of support or extra resource to keep that one moving forward. And we are probably being more intentional about that than we've ever been in the past, and really making some moves that help support some areas that we can see kind of on the radar that need help. And of course, as you will remember, we have 3 real focus areas. And of course, the first one is to increase early literacy and get those kids reading to that high level of proficiency by 3rd grade. And we also were working to improve ELAR performance all the way up through the system. And we have different measures of progress that we can see how we're doing with that. Additionally, we saw that, and as we talked about in our training tonight, as a result of literacy, we're also seeing that we're working toward that improvement in our 3rd through 5th grade math scores. And so we are watching multiple sets of data all the time, and even our teachers have it down to individual kid by kid, are they meeting those growth measures? But we have asked Shay Garland, our ELA director, and Susie Johnson to come and give a brief report of just kind of where we are with a couple of sources of data to help you see just a snippet of what we can look at and how we're doing in relation to those goals. So first we have Shay to come and tell us a little bit about ELAR.
Challenged, so I'm lowering it so that you all can hear me and those can hear as well. So just so you know, when we talked in the fall, we looked at our beginning of year reading level data and district common assessment scores. So we'll be taking a look at where we are at middle of year. A lot of this data was compiled in December, so even from then we've seen some growth, but as far as a comprehensive district measure, we're going to use that. Just high level overview, the highlights that I have seen, we do have increased reading level proficiency pretty much at every grade level, from 1st all the way up through 8th. Our approaches, grade level or performance level on our district common assessments has improved from 3rd through 6th grade. We took a little dip in 7th, I'll explain a little bit more about that in just a second, and then in 8th grade we still saw some progress there. The same thing for meets, that we noticed our 6th and 7th grade students regressed slightly, as well as with our master's performance. So those are just kind of some conclusions, and then I'll show you the actual data to kind of support that. So these are reading levels. We use the Fountas of Pinnell benchmark reading assessment, and I'm going to give a lot of credit to these people behind me, our campus administrators, our elementary coordinator, our interventionist, specialist. We have pretty much all hands on deck. Anyone with an extra 5 minutes in their schedule is doing something to help improve reading across our campuses. So you'll notice from that beginning of year measure, we're seeing some growth. We do have our
lofty but achievable goal. But one thing that I do want to mention when we're looking at these numbers, because initially I went to Dr. Hubert and I was a little bit disappointed because I see how much work is going into this on campus, and I felt like, oh, well, this doesn't really project everything that we're doing with students on a day-to-day basis. So I took a step back and I had to reflect. So I'll just give you a pretty clear, I think, example for first grade. So our first grade students are expected to be on a level D when they enter first grade. So at the beginning of the year, if they're D or above, they're on grade level. At middle of the year though, they're expected to be at a level F. So when we're looking at middle of the year and thinking about what looks like only a 5% growth, what that really means is the teacher was able to take all the kids who are already on level, plus some kiddos who were not on level, and bring them all the way up to grade level proficiency. So we have some kids who may have been an A, B, or C who are now on an F. And that 5% in first grade represents about 40 kiddos. So I think that's pretty significant for what our teachers are doing out there with our kids. So just that to keep in mind, kind of, as you're looking at the percentages, just know that doesn't necessarily reflect like, oh, that's only 5 kids. That's significantly more than 5 kids, and you can see at certain grade levels, we have significantly more growth. So just a tidbit there in case you're thinking there isn't as much growth as we would like. In moving toward our common assessments, and this is the part where I mentioned 6th and 7th grade get a little bit less movement. In our second administration, we have 100 minutes at the 7th grade level and 90 minutes at the 6th grade level. So we try to increase their stamina by making the test a little bit longer. We use more complex passages because we want them to get used to that, because we know that those tests are more comprehensive. Typically, we only do 2 passages in the fall. So we typically see a little bit of regression. You'll notice it's not as much in the approaching grade level, but when I show you our meets and masters performance, you'll see that it looks like, oh gosh, we lost quite a bit of ground with our 6th and 7th graders. But I do want to share with you their reading lifestyle measures, because you'll see they are able to comprehend better. They're just not quite at the place where they're able to analyze at that meeting and mastering level. So you'll notice across the board we have our first DCA, second DCA, and then next to the goal. So we're getting pretty close. Don't be traumatized by the 5th grade. Remember, that is after 2 administrations, and so they'll take the test in April and then they'll take it again in May, and both of those numbers combined should help us achieve that 90% goal. So, but everything else is very close or very close to achievable, and the same thing with 8th grade. That 90 also includes the second administration. So when we talk about meeting grade level, which is typically somewhere between 73 and 76% proficiency on the exam, depending on the grade level, you notice there's still some room for growth, but we've had significant changes, like in our 3rd grade and 4th grade. You can see lots of growth there. Obviously, as we go through the grade levels, the test is much more complex, a lot more questions, and so we don't see those huge jumps because our 3rd and 4th graders are still kind of learning to read, and the more proficient they become as readers, we get to see a lot more growth. The lifestyle is so high, by the time you get into 6th and 7th grade, it's harder to see those huge jumps. Again, with 6th and 7th grade, they have a longer test. It's 100 minutes. Our 7th graders is the first time they've had kind of that final exam schedule that they get in junior high. So we are working through that data and trying to figure out how we can get them to maintain that performance even when they have multiple selections and a longer assessment period. And of course, the data looks pretty much the same at our master's level. Again, you see lots of growth in 3rd. Not as much in 4th, but remember our 4th and 7th grade teachers are also working on the writing assessment, which comes before the reading assessment, so sometimes our attention shifts a little bit to writing. We have a little bit of growth at 5th, again, that pretty significant dip at 6th and 7th, but we're working toward that. We have a release test in the next couple of weeks that'll give us some more kind of comprehensive data about where our students are, so we can make some plans for targeting things. And then of course 8th grade is kind of holding steady there. And closing the gap toward getting toward our goal of 37. So just to kind of counter that dip that we see in the 6th and 7th grade, I thought it might be helpful to look at another measure. Like Dr. Huber said, we don't just look at this one test that they took, and this was actually the week before Christmas break. We know that there are a lot of factors that go into how students perform on one single test, so we always think it's beneficial to look and see what do other data sources say. So not at proficiency, approaching meeting and mastering, the same language from our STAR assessment. And you can see from beginning to middle of the year, we have some pretty significant growth in our 6th graders, and this is based on Lexile reading measure. And then with 7th grade, you can see the same thing. So in essence, what I'm trying to say is the kids are growing in their reading ability. It just hadn't necessarily translated to them being able to analyze at the deeper levels that the assessment asked them for. Not that we're going to stop working toward that goal, but you can see there is some growth. We just need to take more time in teaching them how to analyze what they're reading. We tackled the first hurdle, can you read and comprehend the text? Now our next hurdle will be, now how can you analyze and answer these questions effectively and appropriately? So that's where we are as an ELAR group, and like I said, all the credit goes to these wonderful people behind me, our coordinators, specialists, principals, because they're the ones making it happen every day, and we're just kind of in the background trying to help push and support. So are there any questions about English on Charts reading? Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Matt.
Last November, I gave you a little insight into some of the assessments that we use to track students' data throughout the year. And then I also explained some of our interventions that we use, some of our online programs we have, and then obviously the teacher intervention inside the classroom with the allotted time, because obviously we have anywhere from 90 to 100 minutes at the elementary, and at intermediate we have 90 minutes. And then obviously after that, then it's a quick 45, 50-minute rush. But before that time, during that time, we really particularly intervene inside the room. So I gave you a little glimpse into those pieces. And some of the reasons why we track that student data is obviously, as Dr. Heber started, there's a goal at the end. We want kids to perform on the STAR. So we are tracking towards that. But in math, we're also tracking to make sure our students are excellent problem solvers, along with contain that number sense. And then we're also tracking too, because I want to make sure they're ready for the next course or whatever might be next for them. So it's a basket of things that we continue to track. We really rely heavy on our screeners. The state provides elementary screeners and middle school screeners all the way up to 8th grade for us. And those screeners have a nice, because what it is are they ready or are they going to be ready for the future? Along with it actually has a great correlation to STAR. So we use that a lot. I shared that data with you. I'm going to show you where we are in that so you know. We also use our state online interim assessments, and Matt started doing that last year. And the state's been really pushing that, and we've got some great data that came out of our December, but there's nothing to show progress yet, so I can't really say, hey, look, this is where we are, because we'll be taking the next one in March. So I think the screeners is the best reliable piece. But part of the reasons is in math that we have these long-term assessment pieces is, if you remember back to your math days, teachers give assessments on a chapter basis, a module basis, and it's short-term. And so what we see is kids can hold that skill for that short term, or maybe I really didn't have that deep understanding and I memorized, and so I'm great at this. And so our long-term assessments, can they pull that information out of their head and mix all that information and be able to perform at it in the long term? So that's sort of how we set our assessments up, to just check those pieces. And here's a glimpse into, as we look at approaches, meets, and masters. And you can see the beginning of the year screener where we started, the blue, and then the middle of the year that we just took. Matter of fact, the screener window ended on Friday. Okay, so you know, this is up-to-date information right at the list. And then where our goals are. So you can see across the board, and remember, approaching is not where we want to be. We really want to be at that meets level all the time, but approaching is just getting across that bar. And so you can see most of our students are making growth towards that. I mean, if you want to look at it in the form of STAR, we're 12 weeks out of the test. We're still working on concepts. There's still things we haven't taught yet that we're still learning. We're in the midst of geometry and then statistical and data analysis will be our next pieces. So you can see that progressed up. And it progressed up at all grade levels. I don't have 8th grade on there, as I told you last time, because 8th grade is sort of the mixed bag. It's where you're in 2 different courses, whether you're in on-level 8th grade math or you're in algebra. So there's where the approaching looks, and we're happy that we're progressing toward those goals, obviously. And then the meets performance. You can sort of see the same thing at meets. Obviously, you can see where our goals are, and yes, I notice I put everything at a scale of 0 to 100. Math people have a tendency to do that. So those bars look shorter, obviously, than the previous screen, but that's because our meets goals are less. And now, obviously, we want to keep pushing past that 50%, because I think half of our students can be meets in math. But again, if you look, they're all moving forward. In other words, every child is growing when you look at the whole picture. Remember, we track this data student by student by student. So this is a big picture thing, okay? So we're looking at collectively. And then the next one I want to share with you is masters. And this is the one that's always, oh my gosh, these are your highest end. This is where you want all students to reach for. And if you look, when we first took the beginning of the year, we had students, remember, beginning of the year, not a lot of content yet, beginning of the year screeners, we had some students outperforming the goals already. So even if we looked at third grade math, for example, it's probably a good one to look at. 29% of our babies were already at that master's level performance at the first screener. But then I'm shoving content and more skills and more pieces in my third graders. And so I start to lose some kids there. And you can see that. Now it's at 27%. Now it's still above the goal, but you can look at this across the board. You see progression in fourth grade. You see, okay, we're at fifth grade. And then sixth grade, the same thing. But it's still that dip down. You see that dip down at sixth grade and seventh grade with the masters too? And part of it is what starts to happen in a classroom is you need to know there's a wide variety of students in every room, okay, of different abilities, as we know. And what starts to happen, and it's sort of like in the teacher DNA, and these are the things that we've been working on the last couple of summers and we'll continue to work in. When you're a teacher and you're inside the room and you're struggling and you're just blowing it away, it's very hard to address all those situations in one room. And a teacher's DNA, I want to help you learn. I want to help you grow. I want to help you move forward. And so what we've been really working on in math is how to address what if a kid comes to your room and they already know. How are you stretching them and how are you moving forward? And that's a new animal when you're looking at all the diverse kids in the room. And so I wanted you to see, like, we're still meeting those goals, but I want to be better than those goals. And I want those kids to keep stretching because they're there. I know they're capable of doing it, but it's also part of that teaching and professional development that we're still developing. What do you do when they already know? I'm a fourth grade math teacher, that's what I know. So how can I help you extend that for all the other pumpkins? And so we've worked on that the last couple of years and we're gonna continue to work on that. So that's why you see that masters, you know me, I'm the math, I like to keep going up, and then I don't like those dips, but there really is a reason behind it. So that's your quick blip into the second screener that ended on Friday. Do you have any questions? I'd be happy to answer anything. Well, thank y'all, and thanks for letting us share. We really appreciate that.
A good person. So.
Notice that. Oh, excellent. Thank you. Thank you all for sharing that tonight. We appreciate the update.
Wouldn't it be nice if we could give those same presentations to every legislator and every parent group? And because it really is so much, there's so much more information behind the end number that makes it all make sense. It's a shame everybody doesn't get to know it.
Okay, we're going to move on to our consent agenda, and this portion of the agenda consists of items to be routine and be enacted with one motion unless we need separate discussion. So has everybody reviewed or have any questions about the consent agenda items?
Questions?
Okay, so if there's not any questions, we need a motion that the board approve consent agenda items A through K. Motion by Chuck, seconded by Kelly. All in favor? All right, that motion passes. Dr. Bullock, you're next, I believe.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Blizzard. I bring before you the proposed school calendar for next school year, which is the 2021 school year. A couple of things about the calendar that you guys have in front of you. This is a draft and proposal that was developed in conjunction with our District Education Improvement Committee, which Dr. Garza leads. This committee includes teacher representatives from each campus, as well as community and parents and administrators at the district level in accordance with policy. So we start a process that goes back earlier into the fall, where we talk to this committee about the rules and regulations from the state regarding school calendars, the number of minutes that we have to meet during the school year in order to satisfy state law, and then various other things that we consider from what's appropriate for curriculum and instruction, to when holidays fall, and kind of the history of how we've done some things with our calendar so we get a sense of what our community's used to. At the January DEIC meeting, that committee approved the calendar that's sitting in front of you, and I want to just call out a couple of things to highlight to you. We have a start date of August the 12th for our first day of school, and the last day of school falling on May the 25th. Couple of things about this calendar that, or one in particular that is a change. This calendar has Election Day, November the 3rd, is a staff and student holiday. With the requirements that are put on our schools to serve as polling places and our charge to keep our students and staff safe, it's kind of hard to meet both those goals in one day when polling places by definition have to be open to all without restriction, and yet we need to keep our kids safe and maintain security. So I don't think we're the only district taking this stance, but with Election Day coming up, it's something that's a change for our calendar. You'll notice professional development days at the end of each grading period is something that's very popular with our teachers and our principals. It gives us a chance to regroup and provide some focused professional development. The rest of this is pretty straightforward. A week for Thanksgiving, our normal length of time for Christmas holiday. President's Day is a holiday on this calendar, and it gives us a total of 175 instructional days and 12 professional development days. Do you guys have any questions looking at this, or anything else you'd like to ask? Yes, sir.
You know, I love the concept of letting out for Election Day, and maybe to consider on, well, it's too late this year, but on Super Tuesday every 4 years, it's similar. You know, so, which is coming up on May the 3rd. So, and I know you'd have to go out every 4 years and probably do that. But I think that's probably another day because.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
You're right, absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Murphy. Any other questions or concerns?
That's good.
Okay. Thank you. Ask for a motion then, if you guys are comfortable.
Yes, sir. So if there's no other questions, we need a motion that the board approve the
Dr. Bullock's ready to get this off his plate.
It's a popular event.
No hurry, right? So we need a motion that the board approve the 2020-2021 school calendar as presented. Motion by Joe, seconded by Travis. All those in favor? Motion passes.
There you go, sir. There's a lot of work that goes into this.
Yeah.
I can
A
imagine.
lot of work.
They do a good job.
A lot of people with different desires.
Well, and somebody won't get the calendar they wanted exactly, but, you know, it is a calendar now.
That's good. You got anything else we need to tackle?
Got the second part of it here, but again, want to thank this crew. They're the ones that get everything done. Appreciate them being around here, you know, for tonight. Had a lot of good recognitions tonight. Thank y'all for your work with them.
Absolutely. Thank you for everything you do. So at this time, the board is going to recess to move into closed executive session for the purposes permitted by consider student parent grievance appeal under board policy FNG pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.0821 and consultation with attorney regarding student parent grievance appeal pursuant to Texas Government Code section 551.071. Thank you, guys.
I don't think it's impossible. You just have to have the opinions. So, I mean, that's still an option. But I was so impressed with everything that they offered as a career school. I was like, oh. Actually, we're gonna get smacked on the nose, so yeah, so.
Okay. All right, the time is 9:45 p.m. Do I have a motion regarding the first appeal regarding timeliness?
Mr. President, I move that the board affirm the level 2 decision in this matter.
Okay, do I have a second? Is that seconded by Chuck? All those in favor? Okay, this motion passes. This appeal is concluded. Thank you. Okay, the board is now going to recess to move into closed executive session for purposes permitted by evaluation of the contract of superintendent, pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.074, consultation with attorney pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.071, personnel discussion and recommendations pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.074, and discussion of purchase, sale, exchange, or value of real property pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.072.
How to operate it.
You know what? I
I'm
just
feeding
choose
it up like this
I just
under
choose
the
not
chair
to
'cause
operate
it's
it.
too short. You can totally.
I figured
relate.
Christmas fixed my.
Yeah, but look, this is not right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Need a motion that we approve to extend the contract of Superintendent Dr. Todd Stevens for 1 year beyond his present contract, which will include a 4% raise to his base salary. This extension covers the period June 1, 2020 through June 30, 2023, and becomes effective on this date. Motion by Chuck, seconded by Kelly. All in favor? That motion passes. All right, now we need a motion to adjourn this meeting. Motion by Christie, seconded by Joe. All in favor? The time is 12:30. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Yeah. It's a rest. What I think.
Took us 2 days.